Well, welcome back to TRT World. We're going to go live to Brussels, where European leaders are meeting to discuss their negotiating guidelines for the UK's exit from the bloc. The presidents of the European Council and EU Commission are holding a press conference. Let's listen in to Donald Tusk, the president of the European Council.
Giving us a strong political mandate for these negotiations. Here I would like to thank the whole team who worked hard to prepare the guidelines, especially Secretary General Jeppe Tranholm-Mikkelsen, Piotr Serafin and Didier Zeus. We are united not only on the substance, but also on the method of conducting the Brexit talks. I am referring here to the so-called phased approach accepted by the leaders today. This means that before negotiating our future relations with the UK, we must first achieve sufficient progress on citizens' rights, finances, and the border issue in Ireland. It is too early to speculate on when this might happen. However, it is important to highlight that it will be for the EU leaders to assess and decide if sufficient progress has been made. And this will be a unanimous decision of all the 27 heads. Let me now focus on our priority number one, namely citizens, whose rights we want to respect and secure in the first place. Today's discussion made clear that when it comes to reaching a decision on citizens' rights, not only speed is of the essence, but above all quality, as so many people's lives depend on it. We are talking about 4.5 million people, Europeans residing in the UK and Britons living on the continent. Over the past weeks, we have repeatedly heard from our British friends, also during my visit in London, that they are ready to agree on this issue quickly. But I would like to state very clearly that we need real guarantees for our people to live, work and study in the UK, and the same goes for the Brits. The Commission has prepared a full list of rights and benefits that we want to guarantee for those affected by Brexit. In order to achieve sufficient progress, we need a serious British response. I want to assure you that as soon as the UK offers real guarantees for our citizens, we will find a solution rapidly. Thank you.
Thank you. And now the President of the European Commission, Jean-Claude Juncker.
Oui, Monsieur le Président, Mesdames, Messieurs, ensemble avec Michel Barnier, qui m'avait accompagné à Londres il y a quelques jours, j'ai présenté les vues de la Commission sur les négociations à la veille desquelles nous nous trouvons. Nous avons adopté aujourd'hui.
We adopted negotiating guidelines. That is a political mandate. And in the Commission on the 3rd of May, we will be adopting a legal mandate defining and setting out in detail the guidelines for the negotiations proper, which will be presented by Michel Barnier at a press conference at 11 o'clock, I believe, on the 3rd of May. And could I take this opportunity to pay tribute to the excellent work that he is doing, along with others. And what I was impressed by today was the unity among the 27. Now, contrary to what one may believe, it is not merely superficial unity. It's not just a facade. It is a genuine common ambition, which became apparent based on the work that we did today. As the President said, the first thing we need to do is to settle the withdrawal arrangements, the conditions for the divorce, if I can put it like that. Now, those conditions will cover citizens' rights, the 4.5 million citizens who live either in the UK or on the continent of Europe. Now, this doesn't simply entail setting out a few principles. It's not a question of problems. It's a question of putting in place the necessary guarantees which European citizens need to be provided with. citizens who are often very hard hit indeed by the vote on Brexit. It often takes on tragic dimensions, and so we need to be aware of the need to address the problems of the people affected. And we will also need to check whether enough progress has been made on all the aspects covered by the first phase of the negotiations. And that is a decision to be taken jointly based on a proposal from us, a decision to be taken by the members of the European Council. Now, you should not believe that since we will be acting openly and transparency, you can't believe that we would conduct parallel negotiations on the conditions for the withdrawal and alongside that, negotiations on our future relationship. Sufficient unto the day is the work thereof. We will have to address the problems arising from the UK's withdrawal. First, the negotiations proper will begin after the 8th of June, that is after the elections in the United Kingdom. The negotiations will be difficult, and it will even be difficult to retain the unity which we were able to construct today, but we will do our utmost to retain that unity. That unity is important for the European Union of the 27, but it is also important, equally important for the UK. The UK will not be able to conclude an agreement with the 27 if the 27 are not united, so we will need to do our utmost to retain the unity of which we made show today. And it would be desirable for the UK to give its agreement quickly regarding the financial framework. The UK is currently blocking a decision, and it would be desirable and it would facilitate the beginning of the negotiations if the UK were to be able to withdraw the reservation that it has entered in respect of the midterm review. In the Commission, along with 3 other problems on the sidelines of the European Council, we were able to note that we concluded an agreement with Europol and Denmark. Those negotiations began and concluded a few months ago, and it became apparent that the talks made it possible today in Malta for the Danish government to sign the agreement that has been reached. And I was equally pleased to note that the efforts which the Commission and I myself have been making to resolve the bilateral problem between Spain and Portugal on nuclear waste in Spain, a solution has been found to that problem as well, and I'm very pleased and proud of that. The third point that I'm pleased with is that the Croatian and Slovene Prime Ministers and I myself discussed border checks between Slovenia and Croatia, and here again. Today, we were able to reach agreement. And then, it was the last meeting attended by François Hollande, and I would like to pay tribute to the excellent work that he did. Thank you.
Now open the floor for your questions, and we start with the gentleman in the middle here. Chris.